Welcome to the Digital Pedagogy Project's module on transferable skills. My name is Erin McHarge, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Communication and Media Studies at Carleton University. I'm also a research assistant for the Digital Pedagogy Project. Our team has launched a pilot project with instructors to support the development of open access and multimedia resources. As a project centered on pedagogy, I began to ask what the role of learning for research assistants was while completing this work. What do RAs learn in their work, and how does it connect with future experiences and goals? In response to this question, this module was designed for research assistants, or perhaps those who employ research assistants, to reflect on both the skills developed and applicability of the experience of an RA-ship. Even when research assistantships are completed, the experience continues on and impacts that individual's story. This module is structured into 3 sections. In the first section, we discuss what transferable skills are that RAs have developed. In the second section, we're discussing the process of using reflection and reflexive thinking to make meaning from an RA's experience. And finally, we're considering how an RA can take these transferable skills and communicate how and why their RA-ship shapes their profile. Each section is designed to prompt a research assistant, and those who employ them, to consider the pedagogy of RAs and how there's a wealth of knowledge and know-how supported during these research experiences. Diving into the first section, we are turning to transferable skills as tangible learning outcomes of RAs. Skill sets are generally divided into hard technical skills and soft interpersonal skills. Hard or technical skills are designed to describe the actions and abilities demonstrated by RAs that have tangible outputs. Some examples of hard or technical skills developed in a research assistantship include media and lab proficiency, transcribing materials, leading workshops, editing, conducting interviews, and data analysis. And these are just some of the examples of the technical or hard skills that would be acquired in a typical RA-ship. While your hard skills capture what you do, soft skills are more about how you approach it, as well as the interior or the social work that goes into your RA-ship. Some examples of soft interpersonal skills include time management, organization. This looks like managing your hours or inboxes. Written and oral communication. This is writing summaries of literature, for example. Adaptability, which is adjusting as projects change. Teamwork, collaborating with other RAs or primary researchers. Problem solving, managing hurdles as they come in the project. And interpersonal abilities, developing connections or networking. Again, these are some of the interpersonal or soft skills that an RA would have the chance to practice in their work. Being able to describe both hard and soft skills is equally important. For instance, let's use the example of simply sending an email. First, there's the use of the inbox and the craft of the written message. The hard skills there are evident. But you also may need to schedule a meeting. That includes time management. Loop in several members of the team, which is teamwork. And on top of that, you might have to address a technology-based issue that's come up, which requires the soft skills of problem solving and adaptability. It can be more difficult to describe the soft skills, but they're just as important. Transferable skills are taking what you've built upon in RA-ship and transferring them to your profile as an emergent professional. Reflection and reflexivity bridges the gap between the experience they have and the significance it holds for an RA. Reflection and reflexivity helps the person behind the RA-ship begin to shape and mold their story of what they've learned and what meaning it has. Almost like an umbrella that hard and soft skills can be organized under, competencies are complex skill sets that describe the breadth of tools and capabilities an RA has been trained to use. After taking stock of the different skills that are developed, we can begin to understand and articulate their worth. For example, if a student in an RA-ship identifies the transferable skills of, let's say, problem solving and working with software, they've worked towards a competency in digital literacy. Some examples of competencies include research, collaboration, innovation, sustainability, intercultural awareness, analysis, digital literacy, and critical thinking. Returning to these steps of reflection and reflexivity. Reflecting is being able to identify and state what you did. It's like asking, what actions did I take? Whereas reflexivity is being able to identify the actions taken and situate its significance. It's like asking why or what about this work was important. How do your transferable skills translate to competencies? This chart is an example of the ways you can brainstorm your hard and soft skills as competencies. Breaking it down together, in the top row, I've listed some competencies I've been developing in an RA-ship. If we read them on the top row from left to right, we have critical thinking, digital literacy, collaboration, and communication. Paying close attention to the column of critical thinking, we can begin to list some hard and soft skills. For example, the hard skill of data analysis. In our RA-ship, I would have read some journal articles and tried to analyze the data they provided for the project. Another hard skill would be writing a research report. I was able to analyze that data and then synthesize it into a research report. A soft skill would be creativity. I would have to draw connections between the project's research questions and the data that I was able to find. Creativity is needed in order to create those questions. And then finally, another soft skill would be information synthesis. That would be the ability to build upon that creative thinking and be able to draw unique and new information from those questions. The same exercise has been done with the competencies of digital literacy, collaboration, and communication for this particular RA-ship. This chart is a way to organize your thinking and give structure to the reflexive process. Communication can be one of the most difficult parts of sharing what an RA has learned throughout their contract. It's not just about the interior work of identifying, reflecting, and finding meaning, but it's trying to translate all of that work into exterior circumstances. Now that we've identified skills and developed them into competencies, why do they matter? What do these experiences mean to RAs? This is where RA-ships are communicated as a means of connecting past experiences with future opportunity. Part of transferring your skills would be taking this work and showing it on CVs, work dossiers, job applications, personal websites, and other research contexts. This can look like formal expressions of experience, where the documentation and descriptions clearly display the experience, skills, and the meaning they make in a new context. In more interpersonal experiences of sharing competencies, whether it's speaking with interviewers or getting a chance to network, it's important to be able to communicate and substantiate your skills. Speaking spontaneously to your skills and competencies and providing supporting examples shows a depth of understanding of your work's value. Moving from what an RA accomplished in their work, these skills and competencies can be put into action in new opportunities, and this is accomplished through communication. Let's say there's a new work opportunity as a policy analyst that an RA is applying for. And while it's within the realm of the RA's knowledge, their work experience might not exactly fit that role description of an analyst. Instead of casting that RA work aside, you can use communication to share how the skills you've developed and the competencies you've achieved prepare you for the role of policy analyst. Communicating your transferable skills becomes a kind of anchor. You have done the work in the RA-ship. You have thoughtfully reflected on why it's important to your story. It's time to connect the dots of what you have done and what you're ready to take on next. Before the employment they provide, RA-ships are an opportunity to gain transferable skills, forge connections, and build a foundation for their next steps. Starting with transferable skills, identifying which skills you've demonstrated and sharpened throughout your RA-ship speaks to the experience you've had. Next, thinking reflectively and reflexively about your work can find that meaning that your RA-ship has to your narrative of experience. And finally, communication ties together the identification of skills, the meaning making of reflection, and it shares the importance of your RA work in new contexts. From the outside, RAs are completing tasks or working on a small bite of a bigger project. We forget that RA-ships are pedagogical in nature, designed to foster learning and training moments. However, for an RA, these experiences shape the direction they are heading in and the individual story they tell about what they've accomplished and what they are now prepared to take on in the future. Thank you.